Wealthies, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Mical Jeanlys-White, the founder and CEO of WealthMore, and this is All the Wealth, our wealth building channel. And today I am on the pod for a very, very special moment. It is our 1 year anniversary. Yes, 1 year of All the Wealth. We started this podcast to have real conversations and share the playbook on how to build wealth with everyday Americans. And you guys tuned in. We have over 13,000 subscribers and over 750,000 views. That tells us these conversations matter. As someone who spent over 15 years on Wall Street, I saw the power of investing and having access to wealth advice transform people's lives, help them build wealth, help them secure generational wealth. And we created this podcast to share the playbook so that more folks would have access to the wealth advice that is a game changer. But you guys know this is just part of what we do. WealthMore is an entire investing and financial planning platform. We are a wealth tech building, also an AI financial coach. But the most important part is community at WealthMore is free. So as we celebrate our 1 year anniversary of All the Wealth, I encourage you to go to wealthmore.net, join community free. And if you're ready for more, Invest Plus is $25 a month and Premium Advice Plus is $125 a month. You can go to wealthmore.net and see all the details, but stay tuned as we go into year 2. Expect more guests, expect users to come on the pod, and expect us to do some live events, bringing the pod to you so you can meet us, interact with us, ask your questions live, and be part of this wealth building journey. We must celebrate financial progress. So we are here today to celebrate. And I hope all of you are celebrating every milestone on this wealth building journey. I hope you're celebrating it for yourself. I hope you're celebrating with other people helping you on this journey. Stay true to your wealth goals and keep celebrating every one of these milestones. Thank you all for listening, for tuning in, for allowing us to be part of your wealth building journey. This is All the Wealth. And here's a look back of some of my favorite moments from our first 20 some odd episodes. Thank you. So the reality is the richest Americans own the vast majority of the US stock market, and that is according to Fed data. The top 10% of Americans hold 93% of all stocks, and this is the highest level ever recorded. The wealthy understand that the best returns or some of the best returns to be had on their money is by investing in the stock market. And then they have another thing that helps them tremendously is they have the benefit of getting wealth advice. That's another clear stat. 70% of Americans don't have access to a wealth advisor. And you might wonder, okay, well, what's the big difference in terms of building wealth? Well, those that do, Vanguard has studied this time and time again, grow 2 times more wealth. So they have the benefit of one, understanding the power of the market, taking advantage of it, and then having a wealth advisor to help them guide, pick their investments, figure out tax strategies, figure out when to go into certain parts of the market. And that dual effect is what has them owning 93% of all stocks.
And understanding how to protect it.
Exactly.
Right?
So what they are not doing, which is what many of us in the middle do, is letting their money sit in savings accounts that are paying barely any interest. And they're also avoiding what I like to call the middle class trap, over investing in their home. It's left to the year. A lot has happened. Today was certainly the news that the market wanted to hear. And Jerome Powell did not disappoint. Obviously, he did not explicitly state that a rate cut is coming, but just the hint of it was enough for the markets to rally. The markets are dancing today.
Yeah, he has been avoiding that the words that he was using today. He's been avoiding being what we call dovish, which is saying that he's going to potentially lower interest rates or use his Fed speak like he likes to. But today was really, people are taking what he's saying as likely to cut in September. So that's why
Yeah.
we're seeing the markets move the way they are.
You got it. And, we will remind folks the job of the Fed is to handle two big things, inflation and unemployment.
The other thing is crypto's not for everyone. It is a highly volatile asset, a risk asset. And so you have to have the risk tolerance to be investing in it.
Yeah, love that one. Double click on the risk capital and risk tolerance.
Yeah.
Yes, so it has to be risk capital, and you also have to have the tolerance for 20-30% swings in any given day.
What I say to my clients a lot is everyone's everyone has risk tolerance when it's going up. It's when it drops that you find out, oh, I don't have the risk tolerance for this asset,
Right.
because that's the worst time to flee to safety.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned the parents because, guys, this starts with you guys. And the data shows that parents, nudge, nudge, we have some homework to do. Well, CNBC, and you guys know I'm going to bring you the data. Only 23% of parents with children under 18 are talking to their kids regularly about savings, investing, money in general. Less than 25% of us, guys, which means we're leaving it to TikTok influencers to talk to our kids about money. We have to be the ones to start it. How soon should couples start talking about money?
I think ideally, once you become engaged, once you know that you are going to spend the rest of your life with this person, that's when you should start having those money conversations because you want to know what you're stepping into. People, some person might be a saver, one might be a spender. You want to know that about your spouse. You definitely want to know if someone has a lot of debt. You don't want to be stepping into a marriage and then finding out later that this person has this ton of debt and now now as a couple you have to kind of get out of this debt if you want to get anywhere as far as reaching your goals. One of the things I've had for a while is just it's a program that I use for engaged couples just to have these money conversations so they can learn about each other and what their views and perspectives is about money, so that they know what they're getting into as a couple.
In the very beginning of the book, if you guys decide to get it and read it, he gives like two very stark examples. Like one person is a janitor who spends most of their life as a janitor, but is a saver and an investor. And when he passes, was worth $8 million.
Yeah. Wow.
8 million. And the other example of someone who had all of the right 100K paying job, had this sort of like very storied career, who overspent and it never felt like they had enough, who passes and is broke.
Mm-hmm.
Literally homes in foreclosure, nothing left, nothing to pass on.
There's been so many documented
Yes.
issues where people were like, well, I named this person in my will. That's great. But on your 4K was someone else. And that often happens when people are divorced, right? Like maybe when
Yes.
you were married, it was your spouse who was named as your beneficiary. Now you guys are divorced and yet they're still named. And if something happens to you, the money is going to them. So you
Yes.
always want to make sure everything aligns with what your wishes are. So immediately you can change your beneficiary for 401ks, for any brokerage accounts you have, insurance. It's fairly simple to do that. And you can change it whenever. So you can always put someone down now and also a contingent beneficiary, which means a backup person or persons. You can always do that and change it at any point in time.
Yeah.
The same thing with an estate plan. It's not set in stone.
2025 started pretty strong. Everything was going good. And then April happened. We saw the market take a really sharp downturn on those Liberation Day tariffs that I mentioned. The market dropped almost 19%, mostly driven by trade and geopolitical tensions. But the market bounced right back in one of the most astounding recoveries that I've seen, at least in some time, like outside of 2020 COVID rebound. I can't think of another time where the market bounced back this fast and this high to new all-time highs. looking ahead to what's going to happen in the second half of 2025, we're still expecting volatility. It never goes from the bottom left to the upper right in a straight line, especially with all the issues on the horizon. But remember that volatility is quite normal.
Now, ideally, you would want to have a small refund, right? Hey, I'm getting a refund of $50, $100.
Yeah.
I paid my obligations and a little bit more, right? But I had the full use of my money all year. Some people are like, man, I got an $8,000 refund. I'm like, you had $8,000 you could have invested throughout the year. Now, here's a compounding effect on that. If every year you get an $8,000 refund, right? Because maybe you have 3 children and one is in college and you're getting all these deductions and credits, imagine for the next 5 years, that's $8,000 that you're giving away and not investing. Just like they always tell you, start investing in your 401k and your IRAs early because it compounds. Had you been investing, that's $32,000 over 4 years that you could have invested.
Yep.
At least 4 point something percent or whatever it invested, but you're getting nothing on it. In fact, it's worth less than $32,000 now because when you got it back, inflation adjusted, it's some $32,000 now.
I am focused on meeting X goal. But it gets better. If you have specific check-ins with your, let's call this person your accountability partner or your accountability buddy, your chance of success, meaning that you actually will achieve that goal, increases to, take a guess, Tanya.
70%,
Mm-mm.
95.
Higher, 95%.
Yeah, 95. Yep.
I mean, that is pretty much like a given that you will hit that goal just by having a regular check-in. It's pretty impressive. Wealthies, welcome our kid investor here, my very own little guy, and we're going to ask him a few questions. Jacob, what do you like about investing?
I feel like it's a good money management, and I could use it when I'm older, and I could be a really good investor.
Nice. What's your favorite stock?
Nvidia.
How early did you start investing?
Probably 3 years ago when I was 7.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about investing?
Probably seeing on the news when it goes up or down.
Nice. And what do you want other kids to know about investing?
If you know a little bit about investing, well, that's good. And if you're just starting investing, you should ask a parent or something. And I started investing with an app called Greenlight. So maybe you could ask your parents about something like that.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacob.
Okay, you're welcome.
That's us for sure.
Yeah.
As investors as well, we have to take a longer look at things too.
You got it.
We're not investing for the next 6 months or 2 years. We're investing for the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. And having been at this for quite some time, we certainly have our points of views on which corporate leaders are better managers versus others. There's certainly ones that we'll be keeping our eyes closely in terms of how they manage this. And it'll show up in products that we see in their stores. It'll show up in how they're approaching pricing, other news around how they incorporate innovation to bring costs down. So I'm excited for 2026. Nicely.
It won't be boring. I can guarantee you that.
It won't be boring. It won't be boring. I'm looking forward to it because these events are where we really see where the strength and leadership resides in different organizations.